Καλησπέρα chat και χρόνια πολλά, καλά Χριστούγεννα και ό,τι άλλο γιορτάζετε όσοι δεν γιορτάζετε Χριστούγεννα. Ελπίζω να είστε καλά και δεν μου κολλάει ύπνος, οπότε είπα να κάνω ένα streaming με ό,τι μου κατεβεί να παίξω αυτή τη στιγμή. Έπαιζα Wars σχεδόν όλη τη μέρα γιατί μου άρεσε να λεβελάρω τους χαρακτήρες μου. Τώρα ειλικρινά θέλω να παίξω κάτι χαλαρό. Event για το Diablo 3 είναι άλλο, τι είναι αυτό. Let's play World of Warcraft. Ανέβασα το ρογκά μου, δεν ξέρω αν το είδατε στο character screen, γιατί τον ήθελα να το ανεβάσω για το lockpicking κυρίως. Πήγα 50 level σωστά, να το κάνω. Χάνω 2 ή τελείται να σπήρε 10 στάμινα, παίρνω 11 spell power, yes. Σόπα!
They can't join our group. They can't join our group.
Open for business. See you later. Have a good one.
Be careful.
Can I help you? Very well then.
Oh no.
It's too far away.
Oh, come on, guys.
That's still recharging.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What the Βγες άλλη μια φορά. Βγες άλλη μια φορά out of line of sight. Να δεις πόσο ωραία πεθαίνεις. Ηλίθιοι.
I can't loot that. I can't loot that.
No, 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 that's enough. Now you fucked up.
That spell isn't ready yet. I can't loot that.
Και έτσι σκυπάζεις μέσα από τα γραφικά.
That spell isn't ready. I can't cast that yet. That's still recharging. I can't cast that yet. That's still recharging.
Α, δεν χρειάστηκε τελικά, φοβήθηκα άδικα.
That spell isn't ready yet. I can't cast that yet. That's still recharging. That spell isn't ready yet.
Fucking insane. Jesus. Αυτός ο Σάμαν ήταν το χειρότερο υπήρχε, μιλάμε.
King's honor, friend. Light bless you.
You need something? See you later.
Greetings. The Alliance.
Worth it.
What brings you here?
day to you. Safe travels.
Flying carpet.
How are you? See you around.
King's honor, friend. Go with honor, friend. Greetings. Safe travels. Light be with you. Be careful. Need help? Farewell. Well met. Safe travels. You need something? Light bless you. Greetings. Go with honor, friend. King's honor, friend. Be careful. Need help? Farewell.
What can I do for you? Light bless you.
Well met. See you around.
Hey! You have a great day now. Hi, how are ya?
What's on your mind? Safe travels. Hi. Watch your back.
Εκεί, όσο περιμένουμε αυτό το flying path, ας δούμε κανένα βιντεάκι.
I originally thought that Baldur's
Θα προσπαθήσω να κάνω κάτι που συνήθως κρασάρει το game, αλλά ας ευχηθούμε να μην κρασάρει αυτή τη φορά. 1, 2, 3 και ναι, κράσαρε. It's okay. Απλά επειδή θέλω να το βάλω στη δεύτερη οθόνη μου, μπας και βρει πάρτι.
I originally thought that Baldur's Gate 1 was a little boring back when it first came out, but Baldur's Gate 2 changed my mind pretty quickly on that with its import character feature. So you could export your character from Baldur's Gate 1 and bring it into Baldur's Gate 2 and continue your game from that save. It was pretty cool. So to say that I love Baldur's Gate 2 is a massive understatement. I think it's pretty much a perfect game. And those feelings haven't changed much in the time since it was released. I've played many more CRPGs, and if anything, I appreciate this game more now than I used to. But I've noticed that some people haven't had the same experience that I have. Some people come to this game expecting a next-gen experience with all the bells and whistles that those experiences come with, and have walked away wondering why the game hates them so much. Magic seems to be the big sticking point. Magic users are too hard to kill, my front line is useless, the monsters are crazy, and you know what? All that's true. The monsters are ridiculous, and magic is OP, but guess what? That's because it's supposed to be. Magic is supposed to be OP in order to counteract how ridiculous the monsters are, and the monsters are there to be ridiculous so that magic can seem OP. That's the whole point. Right? That's why your mages start off with so few hit points and can die in one hit. It's a journey to get your character up to the place that they need to be in order to be effective. And once you do, well, you've got an incredibly powerful person on your hands. So, as usual, I'm here to show you how you're doing it wrong and to show you how to spank this game's backside. And by the time I'm through with you, you're going to feel like the actual god of murder. So let's dig in, shall we? And if you like this video and you want to see more like it, consider donating on Patreon. Ads on YouTube are becoming more and more fickle every day, so subbing at Patreon not only gives me a reliable source of income, but there's also a host of benefits, including exclusive Patreon-only videos like the Trash or Treasure series and First Impression videos. Also, be sure to check out my second channel for live streams and the Stratcast podcast. And now, back to the video. Race is a complicated subject in this game. It determines how people will treat you, it determines which people will jiggle your junk around, and which ones will reject your advances. For instance, if you're an elf, there are certain characters who will hate you just for what you are, and others who will treat you more kindly. Here's an interesting little tidbit about race in this game that give you an idea. Many NPCs will respond to you based on your race, and that's mostly for flavor. But I want you to imagine a scenario that's actually quite common in this game because it's Forgotten Realms. There's this famous character, and he's pretty much the most well-known character in that setting. I've read no less than 7 books about him, and there's probably 13 more where that came from. Anyway, if you started an elf character and named him after that famous guy, then go around Faerun being a douchebag, when you meet him in BG2, he'll be hostile and tell you that he's tired of you tarnishing his name and he'll try to kill you. If you ran across him in BG1 and decided to kill him and steal his gear, he'll appear in this game and try to kill you here as well. Most people think that Mass Effect 2 was the first game to do something like this, but I'm here to tell you that this game did it first. And now that I've said that, there's probably somebody in the comment section going, well, actually, and you know what, dude, just stop. Just stop writing your comment. Just get out. The door's over there. Now, that's the level that this game is at. It's one of the many reasons why people love this freaking game. But on top of that, there's all these superficial numerical things as well. Humans get absolutely nothing in terms of passives, and to make things worse, they can't multiclass either. Multiclassing allows you to pick up to 1 to 3 classes that will level up simultaneously at the cost of leveling up that much slower than someone who's specialized. The benefit to being human is that you get access to the most powerful class in the game, the Paladin. Paladins also get one of the best wizard killer kits in the game as well, and that's the Inquisitor. The Inquisitor is able to cast Dispel Magic, True Sight, Protection from Evil, and Detect Evil as a part of their class, but at the cost of not being able to lay on hands except when they slap a bitch. Humans can dual class, however, which might be better than multiclassing in some ways. The way it works is that you start as one class and you level up that class as normal, and at some point down the line you drop that class and start leveling up another class, and until your current class is on par with your previous class level, you cannot use the skills of that previous class. But the most common way to do an OP class combo is to pick a Kensai then a Mage, and once you get access to both of your kits, it's murder she wrote. It's unique and sort of cool, if not a little bit gimpy. Elves get multi-classing and some of the best racial passives in the game. They're 90% resistant to charm and sleep, and they get infravision, which just straight up does nothing in this game but sounds really neat. They get bonuses to thieving skills as well as a +1 in dex and a -1 to con, but the cool thing about ability bonuses is it increases their max ability score, meaning that while others can only have a max of 18, elves can get a 19. So dwarves, for instance, get a +1 in constitution, which means that they're a bit beefier as tanks and more resistant with certain class bonuses to saving throws due to that con bonus, plus the inherent racial bonuses, the saves that they get just for being little guys. Halflings, on the other hand, are one full size category smaller than humans, which means that they can't really wield long swords or anything over a short sword efficiently, or at all. In fact, a short sword for them is like wielding a long sword, so with that in mind, read the racial descriptions carefully before choosing your race, or you may run into some unforeseen consequences later on when choosing to be big or small. I chose to be human because that's just how I roll. There's not really a good reason for it. If you want to maximize your potential, go with an elf. I went with a human because Viconia isn't too big a fan of elves because drow are basically the natural enemy of elves. They've spent years slaughtering one another ever since the Dark Elves retreated into the Underdark to worship the Spider Queen Lolth. If you want to romance her, you need to not be an elf, dude. Whatever you choose, just keep in mind that certain characters won't let you hit if you're a race that might split them open like a cantaloupe upon intercourse, okay? Each race has a class that they synergize with. For instance, dwarves make excellent frontline fighters, elves make great rangers, and halflings are great at sneaking up behind someone and shivving them. First choose what you want to do well, then pick the race that best facilitates that type of gameplay. My personal favorite is human. I think it's more of like a world building thing. Humans are the most common race, they control the most stuff, and they live the shortest amount of time, so that means they're also more likely to look upon being an undead abomination as a good way to extend their life, hence vampires and liches. They are short-lived and therefore more driven than some would say the lazier races of Faerun, like elves, who basically live 10 lifespans in a single life, and because they live so long, they don't accomplish as much as their human counterparts. And this fact is something that a lot of characters in the game will bring up about you, in admiration nonetheless. This game nails the world building from a racial standpoint. Each class has hard limits on what they can and cannot do, unlike more modern 3.5 systems of modern-day Pathfinder and their ilk. And as a result, the classes are extremely straightforward and easy to understand. For instance, fighters can use any weapon and any armor, and are better at using both because they are the only class that can achieve Grandmaster status with weapons, as well as specialization in weapon styles like two-handed fighting, two-weapon style, and so on. Rangers and Paladins are much the same, except they trade being able to achieve Grand Mastery for things like spellcasting, sneaking, charming animals, and so on. They're also strictly limited to an alignment of good for Ranger and a lawful good as a Paladin. So these classes are, as far as I could tell, the only classes that restrict your actions on top of their other inherent restrictions. Unlike
Οκ. Χασμουρήκα εδώ φαίνεται. Πόνες ο λαιμός μου. Λοιπόν, δεν βρήκαμε κανένα πάρτι προς το παρόν. Όταν δεν είμαι σε πάρτι, καλό είναι να έχω εδώ πέρα Power Force για εμένα απλά. There you go. Misclick. Κάνω κανένα κουεστάκι από Βλέσο 51. Ωπ, 14 bug. Αυτά είναι.
I need a target. It's too far away. It's too far away. That spell isn't ready yet. That's still recharging. I need to target something first.
Γαμούτ. Μίσο το spellcaster, ρε φίλε, είναι δυνατόν.
I'm out of range. I can't cast that yet. It's too far away.
Τέλεια. 2.51. Οπ. Και είναι πάει. Πάνω που έλεγα να σταματήσω για λίγο. Παίζω. Δεν το βρίσκεται. Όπα, άκυρο. Για να δούμε πόσο XP θα πάρουμε. Είμαστε level 51 και μια μισή μπάρα. Για να δούμε πόσο XP παίρνουμε με μια νίκη στο Altered Valley άμα νικήσουμε. 2316. What the f... Oh my... 7200... What the fuck? Whoa, bro! Άλτρακ βάλε Σαββατοκύριακο, φίλε, αυτά είναι. What the fuck? Σωστά είναι Σαββατοκύριακο, γι' αυτό.
I'm out of range. I can't cast that yet.
Oh my god, so close. Kita XP. Oh god. Oh god. Altrack Valley for the win. For the win απλά.
That spell isn't ready yet.
What you want later?
Fuck yeah. Έλα τον μπούλο, μέχρι πότε θα με ακολουθήσεις? Άντε πάρτα μας. Μέχρι πότε θα με ακολουθήσεις? Άντε, επιτέλους, ξεκόλλα. Και έκανα όλα τα quest εδώ, τόσο από το escort, δεν με νοιάζει, δεν μπορεί να το κάνω. Fuck it.
Warm wishes to you. May your days be long and your hardships few.
Interest you on a pint? What's your back?
Fuck yeah, level 52. Level 52, από 51 στο 52 σε λιγότερο μισή ώρα. Αυτά είναι.
Well met. Be good.
Like with 3.5 systems where you could be any type of paladin you like, which as I've said before, I hate with a passion. Since there are no feats in 2nd edition, you cannot bypass a lot of these restrictions, like mages not being able
Just a moment chat. Επιστρέφω αμέσως. Θα να το δώσω το βιντεάκι να ωραίο. Οκ. Για να το δούμε το βιντεάκι.
able to cast spells in armor, or thieves not being able to sneak in metallic armors. These restrictions force you to use abilities at your disposal to stay alive instead of bypassing them with feats. They force a certain kind of playstyle and sacrifice of more powerful abilities. If you buy in totally to the class strengths, you'll find that nearly every class in this game can be overpowered once they reach a certain level threshold. For clerics, it's when you get access to level 6 spells. For mages, it's when you get access to level 3 spells. For fighters, it's Grand Mastery, and the thieves, well, it can be all the time if you really know what you're doing. For new players, I recommend a two-handed paladin class. Why? Well, aside from all the stuff I just told you about them, they also get access to, hands down, the most powerful weapon in the game, but also, they're just really cool to play with. And if you take Keldorn with you, you'll be rocking the socks off of any mage that dares try to cast magic in your presence. It's also the most straightforward. You get enough of the fighter class to be a point-and-click adventure, and just enough of cleric spells to have utility, and both of those playstyles will help you understand the more complicated classes such as Cleric and Mage. But if you want to be insanely overpowered, I recommend either going Cleric, Mage, or better yet, Sorcerer with the Dragon Disciple kit. Dragon Disciple's class advantages are amazing, but some may not think so, but of course, those people would be wrong. You get a breath weapon that you can use in a cone at 3rd level that does 3d8 damage and maxes out at level 18 at 8d8 and causes enemies to be set on fire for extra damage. All of this damage also bypasses magic resist, so it's extremely powerful. By level 20, you'll be given a +2 bonus to Constitution, which, if you've built the character correctly, means you'll have a 20, as well as a natural 5 in AC on top of your dexterity bonus. And on top of all this, you get a D6 for hit points instead of a D4, which means with your con bonus, you'll have almost as much hit points as your tank. At level 12, my sorcerer had nearly 100 HP with the bonus I got from my familiar. That's right, you can use a fine familiar and get a bonus 12 HP or a bonus 24 HP depending on what kind of familiar you find. If that familiar dies, however, you'll lose a constitution point permanently, but you could talk to your familiar and put him in your backpack for safekeeping and never have to worry about him dying. Another benefit of the class is the inherent fire protection that you get from your class kit. You'll start off with a 50%, which will be at 100% after level 16, but there's another benefit that is kind of hidden from the player. Once you hit over 100% in a resistance, you get what they call overflow. Overflow turns the damage type from damage to a heal, which means you can stand in the middle of a group of mobs and nuke them with fireballs and heal yourself while blowing them to pieces. Okay, stop! Stop! Jesus. Stop. Just stop. Fuck. He's already dead. It's more OP than it sounds, trust me. Now it's time to talk about attributes. These are pretty straightforward and chances are you already know what these do, but for those that don't, here's a quick rundown. Strength is first on the list and is one of the most important stats for just about any character. It alone determines your chance to hit bonuses and damage bonuses for all melee attacks. It also increases your maximum weight allowance and how likely you are to succeed when bashing open doors and chests. Some weapons and armor have a strength requirement as well, so for frontline fighters, this is the most important stat in the game. When you get an 18 in strength for a fighter, ranger, or paladin, you get a sort of sub-score between 0-1, which is the lowest bonus that you can get, and 100 or 0-0, which is the highest. At 1800, you receive a -3 to your chance to hit and a +6 to damage. You can easily get this with Gloves of Ogre Strength, however. Dexterity gives you a bonus to hit with ranged weapons, a bonus to your armor class, as well as increasing the base starting thieving stats. Constitution is one of those multi-purpose stats and is a really important one for just about anyone. It gives you a bonus to your hit points per level, as well as a bonus to saving throws for dwarves, halflings, and gnomes. But one of the coolest hidden things that this stat does is, after you reach a 20 in Constitution, you receive a passive regen, meaning you will auto-heal like a troll. Now, do you see why Dragon Disciple is a stupidly good tank? They're the only class I know of that can get you a 20 or higher con score without equipment and auto-regen. And if you combine this with items of regen, well, you're a force to reckon with. Intelligence affects how many spells a mage can scribe in their spellbook. The chance to learn a spell from a scroll gives a bonus to lore, which is used to identify items without using an identify spell, and a bunch of dialogue checks are determined with intelligence. Wisdom affects how many pre-spells can be memorized, the lore bonus, which is much the same as intelligence, and in fact, stacks, and many dialogue checks are more likely to succeed with a higher wisdom. Charisma is the last stat, and it's the most important for our character. It affects how much people like you, so for instance, it'll affect which quests you get and how much stuff sells for in shops. It also has its own set of dialogue options, and people will point out just how beautiful you are when they meet you. It's great for role-playing something other than a basement-dwelling cretin. And that's really all they do, you know. When you roll your character, the score you want is about a 98, and that's a real hard score to get. Chances are you'll be a bit lower, 92, maybe 93, and honestly, I've made way lower scores work. It's nice to have godly stats, but you don't really need them to stomp this game. For my money, Dexterity and Constitution are some of the best stats in the game because those stats combined with heavy armor give you the best chances at survival. Hell, even a mage greatly benefits from both. And unlike modern CRPGs, heavy armor doesn't cap the amount of dex bonus you get to AC, it stacks, so it's very easy to abuse it like you abuse yourself nightly. Intelligence gives you some great dialogue options on top of all the other stuff it gives you, but for the most part, it really depends on what you roll and what your kit needs. There are two joinable factions in the game, the Shadow Thieves and the Vampire Cults in the Catacombs. Each one is only slightly different in their quests, and since they're at war with one another, you'll see one side of the conflict over the other when you choose a side, and vice versa for the other side. The Shadow Thieves are a guild of thieves that were highly prominent in Waterdeep before they were driven out of the city by the Masked Lady in the 14th century. Make no mistake about their intentions, the guild is an evil guild responsible for many criminal enterprises around Am. They are not to be trusted, for the only thing they care about are two things that they pledge as oaths. The Shadow Thieves will never again be brought so low and disgraced as they were in their exile, and they would take their vengeance upon the city of Waterdeep and the Aronson family. They house over 3,000 assassins, thieves, and wizards, and are the type of organization that people only talk about in whispers. All thieving operations in the city are to be sanctioned by the guild, and they do not take kindly to freelancers in the city, meaning they'll kill you for screwing around with their profits. They are like the modern day mafia. Nothing happens in the city without them taking a cut. They provide protection to merchants, money lending, gambling, and well, I think you get the point. Their main tenet is secrecy, which is kind of funny for a guild that everyone knows exists but no one admits to being a member of. This is for one very practical reason, so the authorities, which are paid handsomely to turn a blind eye to their activities, can never implicate too many guild members at once, and therefore weaken their power over Am. The way they maintain that anonymity is by never allowing subordinates to speak directly with their superiors, as well as keeping the names of high-ranking members out of the ears and mouths of subordinates. If a subordinate finds out the identity of a high-ranking official in the guild, the subordinate is rewarded for their keen investigative skills with a promotion. If the identity of their boss is revealed due to incompetence, the leader is murdered and the subordinate receives nothing. In BG2, the guild has tasked you with procuring enough money to secure their help in tracking down your friend who has been taken in by another faction called the Cowled Wizards. The Cowled Wizards are the bastards who will be hounding you every time you cast a shield spell in the city, and you'll hate them more than any single faction in the game. They used to be a group of secretive wizards who hoarded knowledge, sort of like the inverse of Candlekeep, but they grew increasingly more obsessive over foreign mages who passed through town, and as they grew in power and influence in Athkatla, they became more autocratic and began imposing laws over the usage of magic in the city. If a wizard is caught using magic without a license, they will be warned once, and on a second offense, they'll be killed, or as is the case with Jeremy Irons, whisked away to Spellhold, which is a magical prison meant to harbor the magically insane. At the beginning of the game, you'll be accosted by these buttholes and have your thief mage taken away from you because she cast magic missile at the guy who was engaging in a rather brutal display of power, jibbing a whole group of cowed mages. The mages used to think of themselves as the keepers of traditional arcane arts and worshipped the lesser deity Azuth and Danir, eventually moving underground to add to their libraries of arcane lore. They were at one time an outlawed sect and eventually went from being illegal to being the one who determines what is illegal and what is not illegal. The last important faction in the game are the vampires. They do vampire stuff like cut on themselves, dye their hair black, listen to Sisters of Mercy, and write poetry, and when they're not doing that, they're draining your levels and being annoying dicks. You can't even kill them because they just turn into mist and come back later hungry for more of your hard-earned levels. They're led by this chick Bodhi, who no longer cares about her appearance and stopped wiping her mouth after every meal. She, unlike her Thieves Guild counterpart, has a lot to do with the main story, and the vampires are pretty self-explanatory. They suck at the blood. Since I don't want to spoil who she is or why she's important, let's just say she be Morbin and end it at that. And before we go any further, I try not to spoil anything after Chapter 2. In fact, you'll be a god before you even leave Athkatla, so watch without fear, sort of. I mean, I'm going to spoil the hell out of the first 2 chapters, but there's still a ton of game left after that, so use this video as a guide, essentially, to learning how to play this wonderful game without the frustration of constantly dying.
Now, first off, a few disclaimers. Jeremy Irons is not the voice of John Irenicus. I know, it's David Warner, and I totally knew that beforehand, okay? Someone didn't bring it up and then force me to do some research after the entire script was written, and I totally didn't go back and put this disclaimer in because I didn't want to rewrite all those jokes. I mean, totally not. So, yeah, just stay out of my comments with that shit, alright? And for all you who are going to type those comments anyway, I love you. Keep it coming. YouTube wants engagement, let's give it to them. Baldur's Gate 2 is about an orphan named Elon Musk whose mom did the nasty with this guy, and you might be asking yourself what kind of woman would let that inside of her, and the answer is simple. You don't know what he's like when we're alone. He's actually really sweet. Baldur's Gate 2 takes place after the events of Baldur's Gate 1, and actually, there's this whole bit in between that BioWare was like, nah, that's boring. Let's start the game when it gets good. So they cut it out and did what William Goldman always says to do and started in the middle. Then Beamdog was like, but what if we didn't though, huh? And made the boring part into a DLC that you're supposed to play before BG2, but nah, I'll pass.
You killed your brother, sending his taint back to Baal.
And the rest of his body. Not just his taint, but the rest of his body too. They always forget that. I mean, I killed all of him, not just his taint, but you know, what are you gonna do?
They came as you rested, figures cloaked in mist that clouded your thoughts, blurring the lines between consciousness and dreaming. There was no malice or hatred, no mention of an old score, only quick capture and the promise of grim deeds to come.
At some point, you and your band of adventurers get kidnapped by Jeremy Irons, played by Jeremy Irons.
Ah, the child of Baal has awoken. It is time for more experiments.
And he's doing experiments on you, but mostly he just seems to be blasting you with arcane nukes until you pass out. We found out near the end of BG1 that we're the son of God, which, in a way, makes us a sort of god in training, but the god that sired us is none other than the Lord of Murder, Baal, and he's one of those evil guys, so whatever he had planned for us, they probably don't involve us getting to keep our lives, you know what I mean? And this Jeremy Irons guy, he seems to be trying to awaken the giant within us, but he gets interrupted before he can, and our sister, Imowen, see how she got like pink hair, you know? You know, nowadays, they, you know, talk shit about women with like pink hair or blue hair, but I remember being younger, being a teenager, and thinking to myself, man, if only I could get a girlfriend who had dyed hair. Because it was the style back then, man.
Which was the style at the time?
Oh, now it's like some sign that you're a bad person or some shit. Breaks us out of prison and talks about how he wove spells into her mind, and now she's not just a level 7 thief, but she's also a high-level mage. How the hell did that happen? Well, to be fair, she does explain it, but the Siege at Dragonspear DLC tries to explain it another way, which is really dumb, when BG2 explained it perfectly. Jeremy Irons did it.
Let their blood rain from the sky!
Okay.
She tells us that he wove the spells into her mind during his experiments, and that makes sense if you believe that your lineage can make you a powerful mage like with sorcerers. Once we break out some fan-favorite characters, we're on a quest to get out of this place. The place is full of traps and escape monsters that Mr. Irons was experimenting on, and it's at this point that new players will need to acquaint themselves with the interesting mechanics of traps and stealth, in that you can't detect traps and be in stealth at the same time, which is dumb as dog shit. To deal with this, you never enter into a room without scouting it first. Then, at the foot of the door, switch to detecting traps and take small steps forward until you find one. Dungeons have undergone the greatest changes, in that they are no longer just simple affairs of going from point A to point B. Many of the items that you need to complete a quest will be on one side of the map that need to be used on the other side of the map, which will grant you an item to complete in some other part of the map. The dungeons have more of a Metroidvania style approach to their design, and you'll revisit a lot of areas a lot, so make sure that you explore thoroughly, especially the pocket dimension. And once you get out, you're treated to this cutscene.
The tunnel slopes upward into the welcome glare of daylight. Such is your relief that you barely notice the debris at your feet, the remnants of a battle fought only moments before. Surveying the carnage, You hear a scream of rage, and a massive explosion collapses the passage behind you. The sounds of combat greet you as you struggle to your feet. The fight, it seems, is still going strong.
You dare to attack me here? Do you even know whom you face? You will suffer! You will all suffer!
Mr. Irons said he was trying and was close to unlocking my true strength, the potential that lies within me. And I think we all know what he's talking about, and this intrigues Elon. But just as I was at the moment of reaching my potential, the cowed mages came and stole it away from me.
I won't let you leave, not when I'm so close to unlocking your power.
We don't want anything from you.
Enough! I will no longer listen to the babbling of ignorant children.
This is an unsanctioned use of magical energy. All involved will be held. This disturbance is over.
Must I be interrupted at every turn?
Elon wants that power, but he's not an idiot, you see. He just saw what Jeremy did to those mages, and unless he becomes a god himself, he'll never be able to fight this absolute beast of a man, this lisping giant. And this is where the game gets really interesting. You're set up with a goal. You're either going to rescue your friend Imoen, or you're going to try and claim whatever power John Irenicus is trying to pull out of you for yourself. Either way, all roads lead to power. Power you need for revenge, or power you need for saving your friend. And this game really delivers on that power fantasy, and if you really want to lean into that fantasy, magic is an excellent way to do that.
Before we get started, I need to make an addendum. I stumbled across something that's extra juicy, and I just wanted to talk about it briefly. Now, let's say you created a cleric or a paladin instead of a sorcerer, but you'd still like to have a cheesy way to fight mages. Well, I've got one of the cheesiest combos for you. The Enhanced Edition of Baldur's Gate adds a lot of new things, including items, NPCs, quests, etc., but the items are by far the ones that make me scratch my head the most. There's this item called Valor's Helm that you could buy from a merchant in the Adventurer's Mart. It allows you to cast Simulacrum once per day. Now that sounds neat by itself, right? Simulacrum allows you to create a copy of yourself. And fun fact, that copy will also make a copy of any scrolls you have in your quick slot. Now that sounds extra useful, doesn't it? So what you do is, buy yourself a copy of Protection from Magic. Why? Well, Protection from Magic protects you from all magic, including beneficial magic. Put the scroll in your quick slot, cast Simulacrum, take the scroll out of your Simulacra's quick slot, put it into yours, cast it, and then look at the mage and say,
You have nothing to threaten me with.
This negates all beneficial spells the mage might cast and leaves them completely defenseless. Look at what happens if you do this to a lich. And you're welcome.
Magic is difficult to talk about when it comes to second edition because it's not as straightforward as it is for other later editions. A mage is one of the scariest foes in the game. Beholders and dragons are scary, but nothing is as terrifying as a lich. Why? Well, you know about as much as your character does about what spells the enemy's casting, so a lot of it's up to you being able to identify what spell is being cast by what effects are shown or by reading the combat log. Now here's a general rule though given to you as an analogy from another game. Think of magic in D&D as magic from Magic the Gathering. Summoning dead is cool, fireballs are cool, and healing and board wipes are neat and all that, but blue counter decks say screw you to your fun, and it's the same in D&D. The best all-around kind of mage to play is the kind of mage that says no whenever the AI asks if they can do something fun. If you see this means that the mage is protected from either normal weapons or magical weapons and has stone skin. That guy is going to be pretty hard to hit. You can hit him with Breach, which will take his weapon protection down,
while your cleric hits him with miscast magic or dispel. Dispel has a chance of removing magical effects, so it might not work the first time, so it can be dangerous to depend on that since the mage is likely going to cast a control spell which will disrupt the group or hit you with a spell that would likely kill you like Cloud Kill. A safer bet, if you're doing a solo run, is to hit the mage with Feeble Mind. Feeble Mind is one of the most powerful spells in the game to neutralize mages and just about any big bad in the game. Here's why. Feeble Mind causes the subject's intelligence to degrade into that of a simple beast of burden unless a saving throw versus spell is made with a -2 penalty. Upon a failed saving throw, the subject remains in this state until a successful dispel magic is cast. Dude, did I just succeed? Oh my god, that succeeded! Yo, that succeeded! Yo, dude, wow. Okay, so now he has an intelligence of 3 and he can't do shit. Since the spell turns the victim into what is essentially a cow's level of intelligence, they just stand there, unable to defend themselves or cast any spells permanently, unless someone casts dispel magic on them, cure disease, or greater restoration. Now, when I say any big bad, I mean any big bad. Here's what happens to a dragon when you hit them with Feeble Mind. Please hit him at least once. Did he resist it? Yes! He did it! He did it! He can't cast spells anymore. Look, he's just like, he doesn't know what to do now. He has no idea what to do. This is awesome. We got him, folks, we got him. Now, most people think that mages are there to deal damage, and sure, they could do that, but there's nothing more powerful than a character who turns a foe's greatest strength into their greatest weakness and prevents the enemy from being able to defend themselves. If you decide to go with a casting class, don't sleep on Breach, Spell Thrust, Lower Spell Resist, Ray of Enfeeblement, and Feeble Mind. Not only are they not as weak as their modern day counterparts, but they're some of the most powerful spells in the game. Think like a puppet master. How can I take your strengths away from you or neutralize you completely? More than any D&D title made with the Infinity Engine, BG2 is like a game of chess. Every encounter can be easily overcome if the correct countermeasure is employed. Damage is nice. Nullification of damage is even better than that, but nullifying your nullification is even better than that. The first thing you want to do is get some gear and gain a few levels while doing it. And the best way to do that is to do some targeted exploring and quests. As soon as we exit Jeremy Irons' bondage dungeon, we'll run into this big circus tent, and inside, stuff is real messed up. Some dude thinks he's a god, got everyone hallucinating that the tent is some kind of palatial estate and he's turned everyone into monsters. This is one of the easiest missions to tackle at an early level, so long as you remember one thing. When you run into a mage, dispel and haste, so your melee people can disrupt his casting and the guy will drop like a sack of potatoes. But for this guy, you don't even need to do all that because he's so focused on killing Miyagi over here that he forgot to defend himself.
This isn't what was supposed to happen. This isn't what was promised to me. I have planned this for too long, only to have my plans shattered by some inbred northern adventurers. I just wanted to be respected. Restless! You've killed me, destroyed Ka with your misplaced morals and beastly greed for adventure.
Actually, that's technically not true. We killed you by inserting pointy objects into your body. But really, that's just a nitpick. Now take his crap, head over to the Adventurer's Mart, and pick up some upgrades. And if you can afford it, buy the best bracers of defense you can get right now. Doing that will help you avoid having to use mage armor all the time, because as a dragon disciple, you want to be right up in people's faces. And if you...
Okay, το βίντεο είναι πολύ μεγάλο και έχει πάει 4,5 ώρα. Θα το δούμε next time το υπόλοιπο. Λοιπόν, σας καληνυχτίζω chat. Και χρόνια πολλά και πάλι. Καλά Χριστούγεννα σε όλους. Να είστε καλά.